If you are in a long distance relationship, you will know that sometimes our insecurities can get the best of us and we can really struggle to trust the person that we're in this relationship with because there's just so much distance and time in between. In this video, I actually want to give you some tips on how to build trust and how to not let those insecurities ruin your long distance relationship so that you can actually give it a fighting chance. Hey everyone, I'm Renee Slansky. I'm a professional dating and relationship coach. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, make sure you give me a big thumbs up if you liked this video and drop a thanks Renee if it has helped you. Majority of you people know that I was in a long distance relationship with my fiance for 4.5 years. And I've done lots of other different videos on long distance relationship, like how to make him miss you long distance, should you even be in a long distance relationship, and kind of the rules and things that you need to know to actually make it last. Long distance relationships are a lot harder. So can I just say it is normal to struggle. You are not alone. I get so many emails all the time from people who are struggling in long distance relationships. Now, what I want to do in this video is I want to tell you how to build trust. So let's jump into those tips straight away. The first thing that I will say is this. Trust is a choice and it is like a muscle. And with muscles, if we want it to get strengthened, if we want it to be strong, we have to do certain things. We have to exercise it. It's the same with trust. If we want trust to be strengthened, we need to exercise trust. Now, obviously, it's one thing to say, well, I choose to trust you. It's another thing to actually feel trust. And trust is built through consistency, transparency, and communication. They're basically the 3 pillars of trust. So it's really important that if you choose to be in a long distance relationship and if you're trying to make positive changes, that you do them consistently, that you openly communicate, and that you are honest and transparent about how it is that you feel, what your expectations are, so that there's no assumption left. Now, if you have a lot of assumption, which happens in relationships in general, but happens more so in long distance relationships because usually you can't communicate as much, you're not there to see how the other person feels or reacts because you're not in the same room, it is kind of like this cancer that gets into a relationship. Assumption weeds its way in and basically builds unmet expectation or accusations, and eventually someone gets hurt or someone feels guilty, or it all starts to crumble from the inside out. So that is why it's really important that you openly communicate about what your insecurities are, which is, my second point. You have to talk about what your insecurities are, but more importantly, you have to ask yourself, where are these insecurities coming from? So there's really 3 places that our insecurities come from. It either comes from ourselves. Maybe we've got things that we haven't actually dealt with in our past. Maybe we lack confidence. Maybe we are projecting onto the other person something that we don't like about ourselves, okay? The second place it comes from is the other person. Are they doing things that really make you question their faithfulness or question their love? Maybe they're being inconsistent. Maybe they're being secretive. Maybe they're being hot and cold in their behavior. And the third thing is it the circumstance? As in, right now they're really busy with their work, so they aren't able to give you as much time as what they used to on the phone because they're just so preoccupied with their new job or moving house, or maybe they've just moved to a brand new city. So that's what I would do. I would, number one, understand that trust is a choice and it's built through consistency, transparency, and communication. Number 2, I would definitely ask yourself, okay, before I talk about my insecurities with him or her, where is this insecurity coming from? Is it me? Is it him? Is it the circumstance? The next thing that you need to do is you actually need to get vulnerable. Now, we feel insecure in a relationship because it's like we want to put ourselves out there, but we want to protect ourselves at the same time. And in a long distance relationship, because we aren't able to have those face-to-face conversation, it can almost make us lock ourselves up, okay? And again, this is where assumption and communication breakdown comes in is when we don't talk about things and we don't actually get vulnerable about how it is that we feel. And one of the things that I noticed even when I went through a long distance relationship and my clients is that we get scared to talk about what we want, what our expectations are, what our insecurities are, and how we're feeling, because we're worried about rejection. We're worried that because there's so much distance between us and that the relationship is already a lot harder than a normal relationship, that if we talk about this stuff, they're just going to shut off. And we don't have the luxury to be able to just drive around to their house and talk about it face to face. But it is so important that if you want to move past this insecurity and if you want your relationship to grow and be healthy, you need to address that sticky part. You need to address the uncomfortable part, and you need to learn to exercise vulnerability in front of them so that you can be, again, transparent, so that you can build trust, and also so that you can encourage them to be vulnerable with you. And one of the best things that I can say to you, girls and guys out there, is if you want to inspire change in a person, in a relationship, or you want them to do something, really it's about you doing that first and exempling that behavior to them and giving them that safe place, because you're entering that safe place yourself, and it'll encourage them. And more often than not, when we're with somebody for a long time and we're obviously building a relationship, we mimic behaviors. So you might find that, okay, if I talk kinder, he'll probably by default talk kinder. If I act like this, he'll probably by default start to act the same, because you spend so much time together that you start to take on each other's thoughts, habits, behaviors, and things like that as well. So if you can be the one to exercise vulnerability in the first place, to talk about fears and flaws and hopes and dreams and insecurities, then what you're doing is you're giving them permission to be able to do the same. And that's how you strengthen a relationship. You don't have one person hold back and the other person do all the work, or try and protect yourself and lock yourself away and just wish and hope that they would understand you. It's about putting yourself out there. That's how you build a great relationship, whether it's long distance or whether it's just normal distance. You have to practice what it is that you want to actually see in that relationship. Another way to build trust and get over those insecurities is to build more unity into your relationship. So the way to do this is take decisions together even though you're apart. Now, if you are living in separate countries or separate cities, it's obviously hard to have a unified life, because you might even be on separate time zones. You've got different activities going on. So it's hard to be able to, do things together, like go to the gym together or go grocery shopping together, or just those, normal everyday sort of life things. So what I encourage here is to still build unity by engaging in each other's decisions. For example, if they say to you, what do you think I should have for dinner? You might be like, oh, well, I think I should try the chicken. Okay. Or if they're like, well, do you think I should take this phone plan? Or do you think I should take this job? Or do you think I should move into this apartment? You can still ask the other person's opinion, which really helps make them feel like they're a part of your life, which strengthens your relationship, even though you have distance between you both, because you are building unity by simply just making a decision together and actually actively working together as a couple through either the little things or the big things, even though there is a distance between you. Okay, another tip is up the visuals. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot in long distance relationships, especially for men. They respond to visual images a lot more. So instead of just saying, texting him, I'm really nervous, I'm really upset that you're going out on a boys' night, I don't know how I feel, send him a little video actually saying that in the video. I mean, we live in a time and age where we've got Facebook Messenger, we've got WhatsApp, we've got TikTok, Instagram, you name it. There is absolutely no reason why you can't send him a 30-second visual video and actually say what you want to say through the video camera instead of just texting it to him. Texting is obviously a great way to have a lot of miscommunication in a relationship, because we can't hear tone, we don't understand how it was said, and it can be taken the wrong way. So if we can actually, do a FaceTime or record a little video, then they can hear our tone of voice, they can see the expression in our face and our eyes. Honestly, doing more visuals can literally save your relationship, and it can build a lot of intimacy and trust through a long distance relationship, purely because you can see each other a lot more. Photos are great, and don't stop doing the photos, but also if you can do a video, it brings it to life, and it actually makes them feel like they're there with you, which makes them tug on their heartstrings, think about you, and also miss you a bit more. And lastly, explain how and why you feel this certain way. One of the things that we don't do enough in relationship is actually explain. We're all into expressing, I feel pain, I feel sadness, I feel anger, okay, we know how you feel. But if we can actually explain why you're feeling this way, well, I'm feeling a little bit anxious. Luna in the background. Well, I'm feeling a little bit anxious because you haven't spoken to me much the last few days, and I don't know if it is you're busy or is it because moving around over there now. She's just found a stick. Obviously, insecurities aren't something to be ignored. They're there for a reason. And if you do ignore them, they're just going to continue to build up. As I said, there'll be a communication breakdown, assumption will set in, and it'll all kind of just fall apart and explode. So we have to explain why we're feeling a certain way, and basically listen as well to what the other person has to say. If you're going to talk about your insecurities, don't just explain it, but also ask them, do they see why you might feel this way, so that you can actually let them know that their opinion is actually heard and understood as well. All right, guys, hope that helped. I'm just laughing because Luna's like running around in the background, drinking water, and yay, YouTube. All right. If you want to know anything more about long distance relationships and how I can actually help you work through a long distance relationship, then there is an opportunity to be coached with me. The link for that is in the bio down below. In the meantime, give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Luna, just wait. That's my cue to go. And until next time, guys, I'll see you then. It's Renee Slansky, obviously. Bye for now.